Tom lived a simple life in a quiet corner of the city. His house stood at the edge of a neighborhood where people came and went without much notice. He liked the silence, the comfort of routine, and the freedom of being on his own. Yet sometimes, when the night stretched long, he wished there was someone else around. He never thought that wish would be answered in a way no human could imagine. For weeks, the news had spoken about the new interspecies cooperation program. Governments of Earth had agreed with certain alien civilizations to allow peaceful helpers, travelers, and workers to live among humans. Most people reacted with excitement, others with fear, and some simply with curiosity. Tom was among the curious ones. He signed up not expecting to be chosen, but a letter arrived one morning telling him that he would host one of the visitors. The letter explained that the visitor would not be a soldier or scientist but a helper, someone who could work in a household and learn from human life. Tom laughed when he read the word maid. The idea of an alien maid sounded too strange to believe, yet the letter was clear. He was to prepare a room, treat her with respect, and keep an open mind. He told himself it would only be for a few months. Then she would leave, and life would return to normal. The day came quickly. A vehicle unlike any Earth had built landed near the city, and a group of people gathered to see the new arrivals. Tom waited nervously outside his small gate, wondering what kind of person would step into his life. Then he saw her. Myra walked with a calm grace. Her figure was close to human, but her presence was different. Her skin was smooth and faintly pale, almost like soft light rested upon it. Her eyes glowed gently, not like lamps but like clear water under the sun. She wore simple clothing given by the program, yet she carried herself as if she belonged to no ordinary place. When she reached the gate, she bowed slightly in greeting. "You must be Tom," she said in a voice that was soft but firm. "Yes," Tom answered, trying to hide his nervousness. "And you are Myra?" "I am," she replied. "I have been assigned to learn from your home." Tom stepped aside and let her in. As she entered the house, she looked around with careful interest. Every chair, every shelf, and every small object seemed to draw her attention. To Tom it was all normal, but to her it was a new world. "This place feels warm," Myra said. "Different from the halls I know." Tom gave a small smile. "It is not much. Just a simple home." She nodded. Simple things are often the most true. That first evening passed quietly. Myra moved around the kitchen, watching how Tom prepared a meal. She asked questions about each tool and each action. Her curiosity was endless, yet she never seemed impatient. Tom felt both nervous and amused. Having her in the house was like living with both a guest and a student. He tried to be polite, but he also worried about making mistakes. After all, this was not just a person from another city. She was from another world. At night, Tom showed her the small room prepared for her. She touched the blanket with care, as if trying to understand the fabric. She placed a small silver band, the only item she carried, on the table. When Tom asked about it, she said it was a family piece but offered no more detail. He did not press her. As he returned to his own room, Tom felt restless. He wondered why someone from another world would agree to live in the home of a man like him. Was she really only here to observe daily life? Or was there something more? He told himself not to think too much. Tomorrow would bring answers. The next morning, Myra was already awake. She had cleaned part of the house without being asked, arranging things neatly but not in the same way Tom was used to. Some items were placed in patterns, as if she believed order followed a rhythm he did not see. He wanted to ask about it, but her peaceful expression made him hesitate. She was not trying to change his home. She was trying to understand it. Later that day, Tom decided to show her the garden. It was small, with only a few plants, but it was the part of the house he cared about most. Myra stepped onto the grass and looked up at the sky. Her eyes widened, and for a moment she stood silent. "This sky," she whispered. "So wide. So free. You do not have skies like this?" Tom asked. She shook her head. "Our skies are different. Always filled with the light of structures and ships. We see the stars, but not like this. Not open. Not endless." Tom realized then that something as ordinary as the blue sky could be a treasure to her. He felt a strange pride in that moment. What humans had always taken for granted was something precious to her eyes. Days passed, and Myra settled into the rhythm of the house. She helped with simple tasks, asked questions about human customs, and listened carefully to Tom's answers. She never laughed at his ways, even when they seemed strange to her. Instead, she tried to see the reason behind them. Tom began to feel less nervous. He even found himself enjoying her company. The silence of his home was no longer empty. It was alive with quiet conversation and curious questions. Yet in the back of his mind, Tom carried a secret. In a locked drawer of his workshop lay a broken device he had discovered years ago in the woods after a strange meteor fall. It was shaped like a cube, faintly glowing with unknown energy. He had never shown it to anyone. He feared what authorities would do if they knew. He told himself it was harmless, just a strange relic. But whenever he looked at it, he felt it was something far more. Now, with Myra living in his house, that secret grew heavier. He avoided the workshop when she was near. He told himself she must not see it. She was part of a program, and surely she would report such things. Yet every time she looked at him with those calm, glowing eyes, he wondered if she already sensed something. Tom lay awake one night, listening to the quiet sound of Myra moving in her room. He thought about the letter, about the strange path his life had taken, and about the secret that waited in the locked drawer. He did not know what the future would bring, but he knew one thing for certain. His life would never be simple again. The days rolled on in a strange balance. Myra was unlike anyone Tom had ever known. She was calm, graceful, and endlessly curious. Every moment she spent in the house seemed to open new questions for her. She wanted to know why humans drank tea in the morning, why they locked their doors at night, and why children laughed at the smallest things. Tom answered as best he could, sometimes amused, sometimes surprised by how little he had thought about such details before. Still, beneath the surface of this ordinary routine, Tom carried his secret. The strange cube in his workshop stayed hidden, locked away in a drawer. At night, when Myra slept, he would quietly unlock the drawer, take out the device, and stare at its dim glow. It looked old, yet alive. Strange lines ran across its surface, shifting in ways that made no sense. Sometimes, when he touched it, faint sparks of light ran across his fingers. He had tried many times to open it, but it never yielded. Tom did not know what it was, only that it was not of Earth. When he first found it years ago in the forest, he thought it was just a rock. But as the years passed, he realized it was something far greater. He feared to show it to anyone, because the government often took alien things away. He wanted to keep it close, though he could not explain why. It felt as if it belonged to him. One evening, after Myra had helped in the kitchen, Tom told her he needed some time in his workshop. She nodded and returned to her room, but her gaze lingered a moment longer than usual. Tom did not notice. He went into the workshop, closed the door, and unlocked the drawer. The cube sat there, glowing faintly as always. He lifted it and placed it on the table. Tonight, he felt something different. The glow seemed stronger. The lines on its surface moved faster. His heart quickened. He leaned close, studying it under the small lamp. The patterns looked almost like writing, though he could not read them. He pressed his fingers against one side, and a sharp sound echoed in the room. The cube pulsed with light, brighter than ever before. Tom gasped and nearly dropped it. For the first time, the cube felt alive, as if it had woken from a long sleep. The door behind him opened. Tom froze. He turned and saw Myra standing there. Her glowing eyes widened at the sight of the cube. For a long moment, neither spoke. Tom felt his chest tighten. He had been caught. The very thing he feared had happened. "I can explain," Tom stammered. His hands shook as he tried to hide the cube. "It is nothing. Just a piece of." Myra raised her hand gently. "Do not lie," she said softly. Her voice carried no anger, only sadness. She stepped forward, her gaze fixed on the cube. "Do you know what you hold in your hands?" Tom swallowed hard. "I only found it years ago. I do not know what it is. I swear I never meant harm." She moved closer, her step slow but certain. Her expression changed from surprise to something deeper, almost like grief. She stopped only a few steps from him, her glowing eyes reflecting the light of the cube. "This is not a toy. Not a simple object," she whispered. "It belongs to my people." Tom's breath caught. He looked down at the cube, then back at her. "Your people? You mean, this is alien?" "Yes," she said. "Long ago, during a battle near this world, many things were lost. This device was one of them. We believed it destroyed. To see it here, in your hands," she paused, her voice trembling slightly. "It is not only rare. It is dangerous." Tom stepped back, his mind racing. "Dangerous? But I have kept it for years." "Nothing happened." "Nothing happened because you did not know how to wake it," Myra said. "Now you have, even without meaning to." Her words struck him like a hammer. He looked at the cube again. The light within it pulsed slowly, almost like a heartbeat. He had always thought it was harmless, maybe broken. But now it looked alive, as if it listened to them. Tom's fear grew. "If it is so dangerous, then what do we do with it? Should I give it to the government?" Myra shook her head firmly. "No. If the government takes it, they will study it. They will try to use it. That would bring ruin to this world. The device is not meant for human hands." Her calm voice sent a chill down his spine. He wanted to trust her, but part of him felt torn. This cube had been his secret for years, something that connected him to a mystery greater than himself. Now Myra was telling him it was not his at all. "I should have told you," Tom admitted, his voice low. "I was afraid. I thought you would leave or report me." Myra's gaze softened. "I should be angry. My duty is to recover such things. But I see the truth in you. You kept it not for greed, but for wonder. You wished to understand, not to harm. That is why I will not report you." Her words surprised him. Relief washed over him, but confusion remained. "Then what do we do? If it cannot stay with me, and it cannot go to them, then what is left?" Myra turned to the cube, her face thoughtful. "There may be another way. A safe way. But we must be careful. Others may already sense it has awakened. If they come, this home will not remain safe." Tom's chest tightened again. "Others? You mean more aliens?" "Yes," she said. "Not all who search for lost things are kind. Some seek power. If they know this device has been found, they will come. And they will not care what happens to your world." The room grew heavy with silence. Tom looked at the cube, then at Myra. He saw no lies in her eyes, only truth, and a quiet strength. He realized then that his life was no longer ordinary. He had crossed a line, and there was no turning back. Myra stepped closer to him. "You must decide, Tom. Keep it hidden and risk discovery, or trust me to guide you. But know this: your choice will shape more than your own fate." Tom held the cube tightly, its glow warming his hands. He felt fear, but also something else. A spark of courage stirred within him. He did not fully understand what Myra meant, but he knew one thing. His first mistake had already changed everything. The night after Myra discovered the cube, the house no longer felt the same. Tom sat in his chair, staring at the silent object on the table. Its glow had faded since their conversation, but he could not forget how it had come alive in his hands. The soft light still pulsed faintly, like a small heart beating in the dark. Every time Tom looked at it, he remembered Myra's words, "It belongs to my people, and it is dangerous." Myra sat across from him, her glowing eyes fixed on the cube. She had not moved for a long time, as if she were guarding it with her presence. Finally, she spoke. "Do you wish to know the truth about it?" Tom nodded slowly. "Yes. I have kept it for years, wondering what it was. I deserve to know." She leaned closer, her voice quiet but steady. "This device was made by my people generations ago. It was a tool of knowledge, but also of power. It holds information about many worlds, many technologies, and many secrets. In the wrong hands, it can shape weapons or machines that should never exist." Tom's throat felt dry. He tried to imagine something so small holding so much. Then why was it here, on Earth? Her eyes darkened. "Because of war. Long ago, my people faced enemies in the skies above this world. A battle took place near your planet. Ships were destroyed, lives were lost, and objects like this one were scattered. Most were destroyed, but some fell. This device was believed to be gone forever." Tom looked down at the cube. He remembered the night he found it, glowing faintly in the forest. At the time, he thought it was just strange luck. Now he realized he had picked up the remains of a forgotten war. "And you," Tom asked carefully, "you came here to find it?" Myra's gaze lowered. "My role was to serve as a helper on Earth, but that was only part of my duty. I was also told to watch for signs of lost things. My people feared someone might uncover them. They did not expect this device to appear in a human home. They did not expect you." Tom felt his chest tighten. "So you are not just a maid?" "No," she said honestly. "I came here under that name, but I am also a guardian. I must protect both my people and your world from what was left behind." The truth settled heavily between them. Tom felt betrayed at first, but the look in Myra's eyes stopped his anger. She had not come to harm him. She had chosen not to report him, even though her mission gave her the power to do so. Instead, she had stayed to protect him. Tom leaned back, running his hand across his face. "I should feel angry. You hid your mission from me. But you also could have turned me in, and you didn't. Why?" Myra looked at him directly, her eyes glowing brighter than before. "Because when I saw you holding the cube, I saw no greed in you. No hunger for power. Only wonder. That is rare. Many of my own people cannot see such things without reaching for control. But you looked at it with a heart that sought meaning, not domination. That is why I trust you." Her words left him silent. For years, Tom had thought of himself as nothing more than an ordinary man, living in an ordinary home. Yet in Myra's eyes, he was something more. She saw value in him that he had never seen in himself. Still, fear tugged at him. "You said others may come for it? If they know it has awakened, what happens then?" Myra's calm expression hardened. "Then danger comes. Not only for you, but for the city, perhaps for your whole world. There are factions among the stars who will stop at nothing to claim lost relics. Some seek to use them as tools of conquest. If they learn the cube is here, Earth will become their target." Tom's stomach twisted. The thought of his quiet neighborhood becoming the center of alien conflict made him shiver. He looked again at the cube. It sat still and quiet, yet it felt like a storm waiting to break. "What do we do?" he asked. Myra stood and walked to the table. She placed her hand gently on the cube, and for a moment the lines on its surface shifted beneath her touch. Her voice carried both strength and sadness. "We keep it safe. But we cannot remain here forever. If the signals it gives are detected, this house will not protect us. We must move it, and soon." Tom's mind raced. He had never thought of leaving his home. Everything he knew was here. Yet when he looked at Myra, he understood that his choices no longer belonged only to himself. The cube had changed his life the moment he found it, but now it threatened to change the fate of many more. "I will follow your lead," he said finally. "You know more about it than I ever could." Myra looked at him with something close to gratitude. "Then we will face this together." For the next few days, their lives shifted. Myra spent long hours studying the cube in silence, her face unreadable as she traced its patterns. Tom watched her sometimes, trying to read her expression, but she gave little away. At night, they spoke quietly about what might come. Myra told him stories of her people, of vast ships that crossed the stars, of cities built in the air, and of wars fought not for land but for knowledge. Tom listened, his heart torn between wonder and fear. Through it all, he noticed something changing in her. She was no longer just the calm maid who cleaned his house and asked questions about human habits. She was a guardian, carrying a heavy burden. Yet in small moments, when she smiled at his clumsy jokes or admired the sky from the garden, he saw more than duty in her. He saw someone who was beginning to care. One night, as they sat outside under the wide stars, Tom asked, "Do you ever wish you could stay here, without all this responsibility?" Myra looked up at the sky, her glowing eyes reflecting the starlight. "Sometimes," she admitted. "Your world is simple in ways mine has forgotten. I see beauty in your skies, in your quiet streets, in your human spirit. But I cannot forget my duty. I cannot forget what I am." Tom studied her face and realized the truth. She carried her mission with strength, but inside she longed for something more. He thought about her words the night she caught him in the workshop, that she saw wonder in him. Perhaps, he thought, she carried the same wonder for his world. The cube pulsed faintly in the room behind them, as if listening to their thoughts. Tom knew the peace they shared would not last. But in that moment, under the stars, he understood something Myra had not said aloud. It was not just the cube that changed everything. It was the way she looked at him, the way her eyes saw truth beyond his fears. In her gaze, he felt something he had never felt before, the weight of trust, and the beginning of something far greater. The days that followed carried a strange calm, but Tom knew it was only the quiet before something greater. The cube rested in Myra's care, though it often seemed to move and glow with a life of its own. At night, when Tom tried to sleep, he could hear faint humming from her room, as if the cube whispered secrets only she could understand. Tom wanted to believe their lives could remain steady, but Myra's watchful eyes told him otherwise. She spent more time near the windows, gazing at the sky, her expression tense. She checked small devices she carried, tools that glowed softly in her hands. Tom asked questions, but her answers were short. Something was troubling her. One evening, as they sat at the table, Tom finally pressed her. "You've been quiet all day. What is wrong?" Myra hesitated before answering. "I am watching the skies. There are signals. Faint, but not from Earth." Tom's chest tightened. "What kind of signals?" "Search patterns," she said. "They are not random. Someone is looking for what we hold. They send calls into the dark, waiting for an answer. If the cube responds, they will find us." Tom looked toward the window, where night had already fallen. The stars above, once beautiful, now seemed filled with hidden eyes. "So they know it's here." "Not yet," Myra said, her tone sharp. But the more it wakes, the louder it becomes. We cannot stay in this house much longer. Sooner or later, they will come. Tom wanted to argue. His home was the only place he had ever felt safe. Leaving it felt like tearing away a part of himself. But as he studied Myra's face, he saw no doubt there. If she believed danger was near, then it was true. "Where do we go?" he asked. "There is a place," Myra said. "Hidden far from the city. My people built safe grounds for moments like this. If we reach it, the cube will be secure, and Earth will be shielded for a time. But the journey will not be simple." The thought of leaving everything behind filled Tom with unease, but deep inside he knew it had to be done. He nodded. "Then we go." That night, Myra prepared small packs with only what they needed. She gave Tom a device that looked like a thin band of metal. "Wear this," she said. "It will hide your presence from certain trackers." Tom slipped it on, the cool surface resting against his skin. It felt strange, but he trusted her. Together, they planned to leave before dawn. But even as they prepared, shadows were already moving. The next morning, the streets outside felt unusually quiet. Tom carried his pack, his heart beating fast. Myra walked beside him, calm but alert. They avoided main roads, slipping through alleys and quiet paths until they reached the edge of the city. "Keep moving," Myra whispered. "Do not stop, no matter what you hear." Tom nodded, though fear pressed heavily on him. They walked along the open fields beyond the city, the sky above clear and wide. For a moment, Tom almost believed they would make it without trouble. But then he heard a low hum that did not belong to Earth. He turned his eyes upward. In the distance, small shapes moved against the blue sky. They were not birds. Myra stopped, her hand tightening around the cube hidden in her pack. "They are here," she said. The shapes drew closer, and Tom could see them clearly now, dark machines, like metal insects, gliding through the air. They moved with sharp precision, scanning the ground below. "What are those?" Tom asked, his voice shaking. "Drones," Myra said. "Hunters. They follow the signal." The machines dipped lower, their movements quick and focused. Myra pulled Tom into the cover of a grove of trees. "Stay close. They will not stop." Tom's mind raced. He had never been in danger like this. His hands shook, but Myra's steady presence kept him from breaking. She tapped a small device at her wrist, and a faint field shimmered around them. The nearest drone passed overhead, its red eye scanning, but it drifted onward without stopping. Tom exhaled. "That worked." "For now," Myra said. "But they will not give up. We must keep moving." They continued across the fields, slipping from one patch of cover to another. The drones circled overhead, their hum filling the air. Tom felt like prey running from hunters, and the thought chilled him. Yet Myra never faltered. She moved with certainty, guiding him step by step. Hours passed, and the city was far behind them. Still, the drones remained in the sky. Tom's legs ached, but he pushed on, fueled by the determination in Myra's eyes. At last, they reached the edge of a forest that stretched across the hills. Myra paused, scanning the air. "Here," she said. "This will hide us better. The trees will confuse their sensors." They entered the forest, the shadows of tall branches wrapping around them. For a moment, Tom felt relief. But it did not last. A sudden burst of noise split the air, and one of the drones descended through the canopy. "Run," Myra said. They sprinted through the forest, branches snapping underfoot. The drone followed, firing beams of red light that scorched the trees around them. Tom stumbled but kept going, his breath ragged. Myra turned, her hand flashing as she threw a small sphere into the air. It burst in a crack of light, and the drone fell to the ground, its body sparking. Tom stopped, gasping for air. "You destroyed it?" Myra shook her head. "Disabled. Others will know. We must not stay." They ran until the forest grew quiet again. Tom leaned against a tree, his chest heaving. Myra stood watch, her glowing eyes sharp and alert. "We cannot turn back," she said. "The shadows are here. They know we carry what they want. From this moment, there is no safe place except the one we seek." Tom nodded, though fear pressed heavy on him. His life had changed completely in just a few days. The quiet man who once lived alone was now running from machines not of Earth, guided only by trust in an alien guardian. As they moved deeper into the forest, Tom looked at Myra. She carried the cube close to her, as if it were both a burden and a duty. He wondered how long she had lived with such responsibility, how long she had carried secrets like this. For the first time, he realized he was no longer just a host in this strange partnership. He was part of something larger, a story bigger than his own life. And though fear followed every step, a spark of resolve began to grow within him. The forest stretched wide and deep, hiding Tom and Myra from the skies above. The air was damp, filled with the sound of leaves and distant birds. Yet behind that natural calm lay the constant hum of danger. The drones had not given up. Their shadows moved in the sky, sweeping across the treetops as they surged. Tom followed Myra as quietly as he could. His legs ached, and sweat rolled down his back, but he pushed forward. Myra walked with steady purpose, her glowing eyes scanning every path, every sound. She held the cube close, wrapped in cloth to hide its faint glow, but Tom could still feel its presence. It seemed to breathe with them, alive and restless. "How much farther?" Tom asked in a whisper. "Far," Myra replied. "We must reach the hills beyond these woods. There is a path that leads to the safe ground. But they will not allow us to walk it without a fight." Her calm tone gave Tom strength. He did not fully understand how she knew the way, but he trusted her. She had saved him once already, and he believed she would again. The sun dipped lower as they moved through the forest, casting long shadows. Suddenly, Myra stopped. She raised her hand, signaling for silence. Tom froze, his breath caught in his throat. A faint hum drifted through the trees. "They are near," Myra whispered. Before Tom could reply, a red light cut through the branches ahead. One of the drones descended, its dark body sliding between the trees with unnatural grace. Behind it, another followed. "Run," Myra said, her voice sharp. Tom ran. Branches whipped against his face as he pushed through the undergrowth. The drones gave chase, their red eyes glowing. Beams of light fired, striking the ground and trees around him. Smoke rose where they touched. His heart pounded, fear driving his legs faster than he thought possible. Myra ran beside him, moving like flowing water, each step sure and balanced. She reached into her belt and drew a small device, throwing it behind them. A burst of sound shook the forest, and one drone crashed into the ground, its body sparking. But the other swerved around, unharmed, and continued the pursuit. Tom stumbled, nearly falling, but Myra caught his arm and pulled him forward. "Do not stop," she urged. "Keep moving." They broke into a clearing, the trees opening to reveal a slope that led toward the hills. The sky above was white again, and Tom's heart sank. More drones circled overhead. "They are too many," he gasped. "Then we use what they cannot," Myra said. She led him down the slope, weaving between rocks and brush. The drones followed, their hum filling the air. Myra tapped a device on her wrist, and suddenly, their forms shimmered. Tom looked down at his own body and saw the faint outline of light bending around him. "What is this?" he whispered. "A shield," Myra replied. It will hide us for a moment. But not long. The drones slowed, their red eyes scanning the ground. For a brief time, the hunters lost their trail. Tom and Myra slipped into the cover of another patch of trees, moving quickly and silently. Tom's chest burned with every breath. He leaned against a tree, struggling to stay upright. "I cannot keep this pace forever," he said. Myra studied him, her expression softening. "I know. You are human. Your body is not built for endless flight. But your spirit is stronger than you believe. We will endure." Her words gave him a spark of courage, but the fear remained. He had lived a simple life, never facing danger beyond small troubles. Now he was hunted by machines not of his world, carrying a secret that could do more than just himself. Yet Myra's steady presence reminded him he was not alone. They pressed on until night fell, the forest wrapped in darkness. The drones still searched above, their red eyes glowing faintly against the stars. Tom and Myra crouched beneath a fallen log, waiting in silence as one passed close overhead. Its hum rattled his chest. He held his breath, every muscle tense. After what felt like hours, the drone drifted away. Tom exhaled slowly, his hands shaking. Myra touched his shoulder. "You did well. Fear is natural. But you did not break." Tom managed a weak smile. "Only because you are here." For the first time, Myra allowed herself a small smile in return. "Perhaps. But there is strength in you, Tom. Do not forget it." They rose and continued deeper into the woods. Tom's exhaustion weighed heavy, but something else carried him forward, the trust Myra placed in him. He wanted to prove worthy of it. By dawn, they reached the edge of the forest where the hills began. The land rose sharply, covered in grass and stone. Beyond the first ridge lay the path Myra had spoken of. But as they stepped into the open, the hum returned, louder than before. From the sky, more drones descended, larger than the ones before. Their wings cut through the air with sharp precision. Tom's heart sank. "They know we are here," he said. "Yes," Myra replied. Her eyes glowed brighter, filled with resolve. "Then we face them." She handed Tom a small rod, its surface covered with glowing lines. "Press here if one comes too close. It will strike them with force. Do not fear it." Tom took it, his hands trembling. "I am not a fighter." "Nor am I," Myra said. "But together, we will endure." The drones swept closer, their eyes glowing red. Myra moved forward, raising her hand. A wave of light burst from her palm, striking one drone and sending it crashing to the ground. Another fired, its beam grazing the earth beside Tom. He raised the rod and pressed the mark. A surge of energy shot outward, slamming into the machine and spinning it into the rocks. Shock filled him. He had actually stopped one. Myra's voice cut through the chaos. "Do not stop, Tom. Fight with me." The battle raged across the hillside. Beams of light lit the dawn, sparks flying as machines clashed with human and alien strength. Tom struck clumsily but with courage, each swing of the rod guided by desperation. Myra moved like a storm, precise and powerful. When the last drone fell, silence returned. Tom dropped to his knees, breathless, his arms heavy. Myra stood beside him, her chest rising with effort, her eyes still glowing with fire. "You fought well," she said. "Better than I hoped." Tom looked at her, still shaking. "I was terrified." "Fear means you value life," Myra replied. "That is why you endure." Together, they stood at the edge of the ridge. Beyond it lay the path to the hidden ground. The chase had not ended, the shadows would follow, but they had survived. For Tom, it was more than survival. It was proof that even an ordinary man could rise when the moment demanded. The hills stretched ahead, quiet under the rising sun. Grass swayed in the wind, and the air smelled fresh after the battle. Tom and Myra walked slowly, their steps heavy with exhaustion. Behind them, the broken machines lay scattered, smoke still rising from their wrecked forms. But Tom knew more would come. The fight was not over. Myra carried the cube close against her chest, wrapped in cloth, but its faint glow still leaked through. The object seemed alive, as if it pulsed with every heartbeat around it. Tom could feel its weight even though he did not hold it. It was not just a tool or a weapon. It was something greater, something that had drawn both hunters and protectors. They reached a small ridge where the ground opened to reveal a narrow path hidden between stone walls. Myra stopped and studied the land. Her glowing eyes narrowed. "This is the way," she said. "Beyond these hills lies the hidden place. Once there, the cube will be safe." Tom looked at the path. "Safe from the drones." "Safe from them, for a time," Myra replied. "But not forever. The real danger is not the drones. It is the choice the cube demands." Her words made Tom uneasy. "What choice?" Myra turned toward him, her gaze calm but serious. "The cube holds the memory of my people. A map, knowledge, and a voice of the past. If opened, it can call for help across the stars. But it can also bring those who wish to rule. The cube listens to the one who holds it. You touched it first, Tom. It responds to you." Tom blinked, stunned. "Me? I don't understand. I'm no one important." "To you, perhaps," Myra said gently. "But the cube does not see rank or power. It listens to spirit. It chose you." Tom felt the ground shift beneath his feet, not in truth but in the weight of her words. He had been a farmer, a man of simple tasks, not a leader. Yet here he stood, chased by machines and carrying a secret that could change the fate of worlds. He sat on a stone, his hands trembling. "Why me? There are others stronger, smarter, braver." Myra knelt beside him. "The cube does not seek strength of muscle. It seeks heart. When you protected me, when you carried on though afraid, it listened. That is why it called to you. Humanity has what my people once lost: the fire to endure and to hope." Tom looked at her, searching her face for doubt. But her glowing eyes were steady, filled with truth. "What if I choose wrong?" he asked quietly. "Then the stars will bear the cost," Myra said. "But if you choose well, your world and mine may yet stand free." Silence hung between them, heavy as the weight of the cube. They continued along the path, the stone walls guiding them deeper into the hills. Birds flew overhead, and the sound of water trickled from a stream nearby. For a moment, it felt almost peaceful, but Tom could not shake the storm inside his chest. As the day passed, they came upon a cave hidden by vines. Myra pushed them aside and stepped in. The space inside was wide, with smooth walls that glowed faintly with patterns. Tom touched the stone and felt warmth, as if the cave itself was alive. "This was once a listening post," Myra explained. "My people built it long ago when they first walked your skies. The cube can speak here. It will reveal what must be known." Tom followed her to the center of the cave. She unwrapped the cube and placed it on a flat stone. At once, it glowed brighter, filling the cave with soft blue light. Symbols rose into the air, floating and shifting. A low hum vibrated through the ground. Tom stared, wide-eyed. The cube seemed to breathe, to whisper, though no words reached his ear. Myra watched with calm reverence. "Place your hand on it," she said. "It will not harm you." Tom hesitated, then slowly reached forward. His fingers touched the smooth surface. At once, warmth rushed through him, and his vision blurred. He saw flashes of stars, ships of silver crossing the black void, cities rising on worlds far away. Voices filled his mind, speaking in a language he did not know, yet somehow understood. He pulled his hand back, gasping. It showed me things, so many things. Myra nodded. It shares its memory with you. Now you understand what it holds. You see why it cannot fall into the hands of those who hunt us. Tom sat back, his chest tight. It's too much. I'm just one man. How can I carry all this? You are not alone, Myra said. I will walk with you. Others will too. But in the end, the choice must be yours. Will you keep the cube hidden, safe but silent? Or will you call across the stars and risk what comes? Her words struck deep. If he kept it hidden, Earth might remain untouched for a while. But the hunters would not stop forever. If he called out, help might come, but so could new enemies. Tom closed his eyes, trying to calm the storm within. His mind showed him the faces of his people, the fields of his home, the simple peace he had once known. He thought of Myra, her strength, her trust, her belief in humanity. When he opened his eyes, his voice was steady. I don't want power. I just want to protect the people I love. If the cube can help us stand against what hunts us, then I can't keep it hidden. But I also can't risk calling the wrong ones. Myra studied him, her expression unreadable. Then what will you do? Tom looked at the glowing cube, its light dancing across the cave walls. I will listen. Not just to it, but to the people around me. If this choice is mine, I won't carry it alone. Humanity must be ready to face what comes. I'll find a way to use it when the time is right. For a moment, silence filled the cave. Then Myra bowed her head. That is a wise path. Not fear, not pride, but patience. Perhaps that is why the cube chose you. Tom felt no relief, only the weight of what lay ahead. But he also felt something else: resolve. He had not asked for this burden, but he would not turn from it. Suddenly, the cave walls shook. Dust fell from the ceiling, and the hum of machines echoed from outside. Myra's eyes flared. They have found us, she said. Tom's hand tightened on the cube. His choice was made, but now he would have to fight for the chance to see it through. Together, he and Myra prepared to face the next wave. The path ahead was uncertain, but Tom knew one truth: he could not run forever. It was time to stand. The sound of engines filled the hills. Red lights flashed across the cave walls, the hum of drones echoing in every direction. Tom and Myra stood side by side, the cube glowing softly between them. Tom's hands trembled, but he steadied himself, drawing strength from Myra's calm presence. They are more than before, he whispered. Yes, Myra said, her voice firm. But we have the advantage. They do not know the cave, its stones, or how the cube responds to us. They believe they hunt prey. But we will not run. Tom nodded, gripping the cube as if it were a part of him. He had trained his mind for this moment, learning to focus even while fear pressed heavy. For days, they had fled, hidden, and survived. But now, standing at the threshold of the cave, Tom realized there was only one path left: stand and fight. The first drone appeared at the entrance, a dark machine gliding through the air. Its red eyes scanned the cave, searching for the cube. Myra raised her hand, and a wave of blue light shot outward. The drone collided with the energy field, spinning wildly before crashing into the rocky ground. Sparks flew, and the hum of the other machines grew louder. They will not stop, Myra said. More are coming. Tom's heart pounded. He pressed his hands against the cube. Its glow spread through him, warm and alive. He felt a pulse of energy, a connection that made him understand its purpose more clearly. He realized then that the cube did not just respond to fear or strength. It responded to courage, to resolve, to the desire to protect. The next wave of drones entered the cave. There were 6 of them, larger and faster than before. Their wings cut the air sharply, and beams of red light flashed across the walls. Tom raised his hands, feeling the cube hum with energy. "Focus," Myra said. "Do not let fear rule you. The cube will follow your will." Tom closed his eyes and let the pulse of the cube guide him. He thought of his home, his world, and the people who would never know the danger that threatened them. He thought of Myra, and the trust she had placed in him. The cube pulsed stronger, sending waves of light outward. The first drone struck the energy and was lifted into the air before crashing to the rocks. Myra moved alongside him, precise and swift, disabling 2 more drones with her devices. But 3 remained. They circled, sharp and relentless, cutting closer to the cave's heart. Tom felt fear rise, but he pressed it down. He remembered Myra's words, "Courage is not the absence of fear, but the will to act despite it." He raised his hands again. The cube flared, and a beam of blue light shot outward, striking 1 drone. It spun into the ceiling before falling to the ground. The other 2 closed in faster, but Tom did not retreat. He felt the cube's energy respond to his determination, amplifying his will. Myra leaped forward, placing her hands on the ground. A pulse of light erupted, hitting both drones simultaneously. They fell, sparks flying, their hum silenced. The cave trembled with the power of the cube, and then, suddenly, silence. Tom sank to his knees, exhausted but alive. Myra approached, her glowing eyes softening. "You did it," she said. "You controlled it?" "The cube recognized your courage and answered." Tom looked down at the object in his hands. Its light faded to a gentle pulse, as if it rested after the battle. I did not know I could," he whispered. Myra knelt beside him. "It was not only you. It was humanity, in you. The cube sees the spirit within those who hold it. That is why it chose you. You stood when others would have run." For the first time, Tom understood something deeper. He had believed his life was small, ordinary, and unimportant. But in the face of danger, he had acted not for glory, not for power, but to protect. That simple choice had changed everything. The cave walls shimmered as the cube pulsed gently. Myra placed her hand on it. "It is safe here for now," she said. "And so are we. But you must remember this is only the beginning. The cube's knowledge can guide humanity, but it can also attract new threats. Patience and wisdom are required." Tom nodded, feeling a calm he had never known. The fear that had pressed on him for days faded into quiet resolve. He realized that his life had changed forever, and yet he was not afraid. He had faced shadows from beyond the stars and emerged stronger. Together, he and Myra stepped outside the cave. The sun rose over the hills, casting long golden light across the land. Birds sang, and the wind carried the fresh scent of the morning. The world seemed peaceful, yet Tom knew it was a fragile peace. Myra looked at him with a small, rare smile. "You have done more than survive. You have proven that even one person can make a difference. That is what my people needed to see. That is what the cube needed to see." Tom looked at the horizon, feeling the weight of responsibility, but also a spark of hope. "Then we keep going. We protect it, and we prepare. Whatever comes, we will face it together." She nodded. "Yes. Humanity has strength beyond what we often realize. I see it in you, Tom. And now, the stars will know it too." For hours, they walked down the hills, moving toward a hidden valley Myra had shown him. The cube pulsed gently, as if in quiet agreement, its soft glow reflecting in Tom's eyes. He felt a connection, not just to the cube, but to a greater purpose. The fear that had haunted him was replaced with determination. By the time they reached the hidden ground, the sun was high. The valley was wide and protected, surrounded by stone cliffs and hidden from the skies. Myra placed the cube on a pedestal, its glow spreading across the chamber. "It is safe," she said. "For now. But remember this, Tom, true strength lies not in weapons or machines, but in courage, wisdom, and the choice to act when others hesitate. You have all three." Tom looked at her, a mixture of exhaustion and pride in his expression. "I never thought my life could matter so much." "It does," Myra said softly. "And it will. You are proof that one human can face the stars and endure. That is the heart of your world." Tom smiled faintly. For the first time in his life, he felt fully alive. He had been ordinary, yes, but he had made a choice, faced danger, and emerged with more than he had ever imagined. Myra stood beside him, her eyes glowing in quiet admiration. Together, they watched the cube pulse gently, a symbol of hope, courage, and the enduring spirit of humanity. The world outside waited, full of danger and wonder, but Tom knew he was ready. He had faced the shadows, he had endured the chase, and he had chosen to stand. Humanity had shown its strength through him, and the stars would never forget.